Angie, this is Dawn Sherman. Can you do a test for me? Can you hear me? I'll wait till maybe she... Angie, Stefan, this is Dawn Sherman. Can you hear me and test your mic for us?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's 5:30, so I will call the Board of Supervisors for Dubuque County into session at our formal meeting on Monday, July 26th, 2021 at 5:30. We're in the board chambers on the 4th floor of the courthouse, and we also have a Zoom presence, and we have a few folks with us, both here in the boardroom and also a few on Zoom. So we'll begin the agenda with opportunity for public comment. If anyone would like to address the Board of Supervisors on matters which are on the agenda, you may go to the podium, state your name and home address. If you wish to make public comment, we ask that it be no more than 3 minutes, and in the virtual world, you're going to need to raise your hand under the reactions section of the bottom bar. So we'll pause a moment to see if anyone wishes to make any comment. Do you need our microphones on green? Can you turn those? Did anyone raise their hand or do anything? Okay, so we'll move on. The first item on our agenda then is the proclamations, and we do have a proclamation before us this evening for the 68th Annual Dubuque County Fair. Whereas the Dubuque County Fair is the largest and longest-running family entertainment event in the county, now in its 68th year. Whereas the fair continues to bring together family and friends, both rural and urban, in a way that respects traditions while remaining current. And whereas the strong rural traditions of the community are celebrated in particular with support of the 4-H and FFA youth, as well as volunteers who share generously of their time and talents. And whereas the Dubuque County Fair, with more than 60,000 annual attendees, directly benefits the county by driving economic development in the region. And whereas the Dubuque County Fair is among the area's top entertainment value, featuring everything from creative art exhibitions, races, the tractor pull and demolition derby, to many animals, exhibits, demonstrations, program grounds, entertainment, and national music acts. And whereas the Dubuque County Fair, which many consider the 6 best days of the summer, officially opens tomorrow on Tuesday, July 27th, and runs through Sunday, August 1st, 2021. Now, therefore, we, the Dubuque County Board of Supervisors, do hereby recognize the 68th Annual Dubuque County Fair and urge all citizens to participate in the many activities offered. Proclamation adopted the 26th day of July, 2021. Someone wish to make a motion?
I make a motion to approve the resolution for the proclamation.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes unanimously. Kevin, would you like to go to the podium and make any remarks you wish?
Well, it's sure nice to see you all in person. I know I've been watching on the computer all the time to things, so it's very nice to see all of you in person. And I just want to thank you for the proclamation. We are excited to have the fair this year. It's our 68th annual, and hopefully the weather cooperates a little bit, gets rid of the heat. But we have a lot of great things for our citizens to come out to enjoy. We're very family orientated. We're very safety related. And we just want people to come out and enjoy, you know, what we have. We have a lot of great entertainment. We have country acts. We have rock acts. We have a lot of kids shows. And we're especially excited to have the Creative Adventure Lab from downtown here to come out, keep the kids busy. And it is an air conditioning building, and it is working. And I'd just like to thank you and your staff for everything you do. I just have to commend you on your staff, by the way. She helped me the other day with my liquor license, and I had made a mistake. Not that I ever do that, but I did. And she corrected it, and she was on vacation while she did that. So I just commend you and your staff for the great things you do. Mary has always been a help. You know, this was a whole new venture for me 5 years ago when I took this on, and she's helped me, so I follow the rules the right way. So thank you. And sometime we get a chance, I would love to sit down so we can finish going across our lease. I know you guys are extremely busy, but I really want you to come out and join the fair. And we do have our theme this year is Let the Good Times Roll. So we're kind of on that Mardi Gras feeling. So I am looking for a parade marshal for our Kids' Day. So if you're not doing anything Wednesday, any of you, I have a great walking stick and you can come out and enjoy it, but
Oh, that's
I mean,
very
I would, but the chair and vice chair definitely would lead that parade.
So, well, I appreciate all the county does for us and all you people, and we really want you to come out and enjoy the fair just like the rest of the public.
very good, fantastic. Thank you, Kevin, so much.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate what you do very much as
Yeah.
well.
Would you like to get a picture?
I would love to get a picture.
Do that, Don, you got the camera? Do it right up here, come on up here and we'll get in front of the flags and their backdrop.
That's right.
I just did a picture with all the queens of the fair the other day. And
Well, this is not.
Yeah.
No, I know. It's great.
Yeah, this is kind of, we'll hold it there, but.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Good.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
I'll be here. You bet.
Thanks, Skip.
You bet.
Best of luck.
You bet, thanks.
If you need any help, let us know.
I will do that, thanks. I'll leave some brochures here in case
Oh, yeah.
you're looking for some great things to do.
We will pass them around to our employees here as well. That's right. Oh, yeah, Mary, you came through. That beer tent doesn't go when it's hot.
That's gonna be a
Here's gold.
Oh,
Absolutely, very good. All right, so, we do have our minutes, Mary, again, prepared those, so wonderful. Did anyone have any corrections or looking for approval?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of July 19th.
I will second.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes of July 19th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Next are consent items, but on this agenda, we don't have any, nor do we have procurement procedures. So we'll move on to our public hearings. The first thing that we have to take action on is the proof of publication for the public hearings this evening.
I'll make a motion to approve the publications.
And I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve proof of publication. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Next are the notice of public hearing for amendments to zoning ordinance. I believe this is going to be for the hearing set for,
August 9th, I believe.
very good.
Yes, I will make a motion to approve the public hearing for the amendments to the zoning ordinance on August 9th at 9 a.m.
I will second.
Motion and a second to approve the notice of public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, that motion carries. Very good. Now we're on to our actual public hearings, and I believe we have 3 zoning cases before us tonight. The first is ZC 06-12-21, Eldon and Kathleen Trum, A1 agricultural to A2 agricultural residential. I believe we have our Assistant Zoning Director, Angie Steffens, with us. Angie, are you there?
Yep, that's
Very
correct.
good.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we hear you well. Why don't you go ahead and give us the context?
All right, thank you. The applicants are requesting to rezone from A1 agricultural to A2 agricultural residential, 2.25 acres, to be allowed to separate an existing home and buildings from the crop ground for sale purposes. The property is located 2.87 miles northwest of the city of Cascade along Stagger Road and is legally described as the southwest northeast, section 14, T87 North, R2 West, Cascade Township, Dubuque County, Iowa. The property is owned by Eldon and Kathleen Trum. Zoning in the area includes A1 agricultural to the north, south, east, and west. There are no previous rezoning cases attached to this property. There are no special use permits attached to this property. 2 rezoning notification letters were sent to property owners, and the city of Cascade was notified. Comprehensive Plan, Chapter 9, Agricultural and Natural Resources, page 134, Objective 3.1, and Chapter 8, Housing, page 122, Objective 12.7 may apply to this case. You can see on the drawing that Dawn has got up on the screen there, he's just looking to separate the existing homestead from the crop ground for his sale purposes. If there's any further questions, I'd be happy to answer those for you.
Hearing nothing, we will go into our public hearing. Would anyone like to make a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
I will second.
Motion is second to open the public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. We are now in public hearing on this case. If there's anyone who is a member of the public who would like to address the Board of Supervisors about this case, you may do so now. In Zoom, you would raise your hand in the reactions function or enter a comment in the chat box. Otherwise, you're welcome to go to the podium and ask any questions or give any comment. I don't believe we have anyone who's wishing to speak. Okay, so look for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
And I will second that.
Motion is second to close public hearing. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Back to the board. Is there any,
Do we have one
any
question for Angie related, if you could comment related to the zoning board and their ruling on this?
The ruling was 7-0 on this case.
Okay,
In
thank you.
favor of it. You're welcome.
Any other questions?
And none for me.
I have none.
I'll make a motion to approve the rezoning.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the rezoning. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries.
I'll make a motion to suspend the requirement that this amendment be considered and voted on for passage at 2 prior meetings.
I will second.
Motion is second. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye, that motion also carries.
I'll make a motion that the amendment be adopted and that the zoning administrator be directed to enter the appropriate changes on the official zoning map and that the auditor be directed to arrange for the publication of the amendment and portion of the official zoning map as amended in the official county newspapers as required by law.
I will second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. That is, that requested change has been approved. Next public hearing concerns zoning case ZC 06-13-21, Norma Weber and Jody Russell and Gary Weber, executors, and Marlene Weber, seeking A1 agricultural change to A2 agricultural residential. Angie, would you like to give us the context, please?
Yes, thank you. The applicants are requesting to rezone from A1 agricultural to A2 agricultural residential, 2.85 acres, to be allowed to split an existing house and machine shed off of the farm, and it will be given to Marlene Weber, daughter of Norma Weber. The property, located 3.24 miles north of the city of Bernard along Callahan Road, is legally described as the Northwest, Section 10, T87 North, R1E, Prairie Creek Township, Dubuque County, Iowa. The property is owned by Norma Weber. Zoning in the area includes A1 agricultural to the north, south, east, and west. There are no previous rezoning cases attached to this property. There are no special use permits attached to this property. 3 rezoning notification letters were sent to property owners, and there was no city notified. Comprehensive Plan Policy Chapter 9, Agriculture and Natural Resources, page 134, Objective 3.1, and Chapter 8, Housing, page 122, Objective 12.7 may apply to this case. What they're looking to do is separate on the north side of the road, the house and machine shed from the rest of the farm ground to be able to sell the house to Norma Weber's daughter, Marlene. And they're looking to keep the rest as agricultural. If there's any questions from me, I'd be happy to answer.
Angie, what was the zoning decision on this case?
On this case, it was 7-0 in favor of the rezoning.
Do we have any other questions for Angie? So look for a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
I will second.
Motion is second to open the public hearing. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye, that motion carries. We are now in public hearing. If anyone would like to speak about or share concerns about this zoning case, they may do so at this time. And we'll pause a moment to see if we have anyone who wishes to participate in Zoom. If someone is present personally, they may go to the podium. We do not have anyone apparently wishing to participate virtually, so we'll look for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
And I will second that.
Motion is second to close the public hearing. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. We are now back to the board. Do we have any further questions, any discussion?
I have none.
None for me.
I would make a motion to approve the rezoning.
And I will second that.
Motion is second to approve the rezoning. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries.
I make a motion to suspend the requirement that this amendment be considered and voted on for passage at 2 prior meetings.
And I will second that.
Motion is second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries.
Make a motion that the amendment be adopted and that the zoning administrator be directed to enter the appropriate changes on the official zoning map, and that the auditor be directed to arrange for the publication of the amendment and portion of this official zoning map as amended in the official county newspapers as required by law.
And I will second that.
The motion is second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. We have our final public hearing case, zoning number 06-14-21, Robert and Lita Briner, A1 agricultural to R1 rural residential. Angie, over to you, please.
The applicants are requesting to rezone from A1 agricultural to R1 rural residential, 1 acre, to be allowed to expand an existing lot to include the sheds and the property they already use and maintain. The property located 0.89 miles northeast of the city of Graff along Graff Road and Leda Lane and is legally described as Lot 2 of 2 Briner Bridge Site, Section 20 T89 North R1E Center Township, Dubuque County, Iowa. The property is owned by Robert and Lita Briner. Zoning in the area includes A1 agricultural to the north, south, east, and west, A2 agricultural residential to the southwest, R1 rural residential to the north, east, and south, R2 single-family residential to the east, R3 single-family residential to the east and the south. The A2 agricultural residential to the southwest on zoning case 0611 of 12 was to allow for an existing single-family farm dwelling to be split off from the remaining farm ground. The R1 rural residential to the north on zoning case 0524 of 96 was to allow for a single-family home. The R1 rural residential to the north on 0103 of 98 was to allow for a single-family home. There was one rezoning case attached to this property on zoning case 523 of 96 to allow for a single-family home. There are no special use permits attached to this property. 4 rezoning notification letters were sent to property owners, and the city of Graff was notified. Comprehensive Plan, Chapter 9, Agricultural and Natural Resources, page 134, Objective 3.1, and Chapter 8, Housing, page 122, Objective 12.7 may apply to this case. What the owners are looking to do is expand their residential lot to include the building that is shown on your screen there, where it's kind of weaved out there, to add that to their lot. So they'll have a continuous lot, just a little over 2 acres. When they're complete, they will be following up with a plat if the rezoning is approved. I will answer any questions if there's anything.
I believe the zoning board on this was not unanimous. Is that correct?
That is correct. It was a 6-to-1 vote. One of the board members had suggested leaving it ag and just doing a plat. We are trying to make this a conforming lot and not have dual zoning. So that's why we were requesting the R1 for the additional 1 acre. They did put a condition on this property that it would be only allowed 1 home only. And they'd have to ask for a request to split that in the future if that ever came about. But that was a condition that the board agreed upon.
Are there any other questions of Angie at this time?
Yeah, Angie, can you comment, and maybe we can bring up the slide of, the neighborhood, so to speak, as far as R2 and R3 in the neighborhood?
Absolutely.
Or in the area?
A lot of this, when we were looking at the research, looked like a lot of those zoning districts were already in place. It's kind of that corridor up through Rickardsville over to Sherrill, where part of the road is zoned A1, one side of it, and then the east side of the road is more residential. It's just, some of it's always been there since zoning was appropriated. And I know that the 3 properties that pertain to Briner were all rezoned for Mr. Briner's children at one time, and that's how those lots were created. Other than that, the residential in the area was kind of already in that area. Is that what you're looking for, Mr. Wickham?
Yes, yeah, thank you. And then R1, the minimum size for that, R1, is that 1 acre?
It's 1 acre, yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there other questions for Angie?
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second?
Motion and second to open public hearing. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye, that motion carries. We are in public hearing. If anyone wishes to speak regarding this zoning case, they may do so at this time. We will pause to see if anyone wishes to address the board virtually, or you may also go to the podium.
And this is Dave Schneider, Schneider Land Surveying, if I'm able to speak.
Of course, good evening.
Thank you. Good evening to you guys. Yeah, I'm working with the Briners to basically accommodate Rob. He basically farms the ground. His parents still live in the existing farmhouse at the west end of Leda Lane. And basically, the fact that he's farming, he built the shed back on Dad's ground. Dad's basically trying to get him to own his shed before something happens to him, or before, just to kind of clean things up going forward, because Rob, his son, has the money in it. I know this was the thought was, when we were initially doing this, there's an R1 there. We just expand it to include the additional ground, because obviously the 1 acre is a minimum that exists already. The 2 acres is allowable in the R1 zoning. The other option would have been potentially an R2, but that doesn't make sense because there was no residence going on it. And if we would have left it R1 or A1 as a 1 acre lot, would have been non-conforming. So that's really the reasoning for continuing the R1 zoning. In this area, these R1s that exist out there actually were about the time I moved back to this area and started surveying, and that was really the only option back then, to put a smaller lot around a set of a home in the country. And so they were doing a fair bit of that back in that day. So we've definitely got a better situation now with the A1 out there, rather than starting to rezone all this R out in these A1 zoned areas. So I guess I'd be happy to answer any other questions you may have related to this.
Do we have any questions for Dave?
I don't have anything.
None for me.
Thank you, Dave. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? Seeing nothing, I would look for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
And I will second that.
Motion and a second to close the public hearing. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye, that motion carries. Back to the board for questions, discussion.
I will make a motion to approve the rezoning.
I will second.
Motion and a second to approve the rezoning. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye, that motion carries.
I'll make a motion to suspend the requirement that this amendment be considered and voted on for passage at 2 prior meetings.
I will second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye, that motion carries.
I'll make a motion that the amendment be adopted and that the zoning administrator be directed to enter the appropriate changes on the official zoning map, and that the auditor be directed to arrange for the publication of the amendment and portion of the official zoning map as amended in the official county newspapers as required by law.
I will second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye, that motion carries. That concludes the portion of our agenda this evening concerning the public hearings. Thank you, Angie. We appreciate all your help.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night.
Thank you, Ange.
Next on the agenda are approval of plats, but we do not have any before us. This evening, we move on to action items where the board may approve, deny, or table any action item. The first is a resolution approving hiring of deputies, assistants, and clerks. There are 2 positions with Sunnycrest.
I'll make a motion to approve the hiring resolution.
And I will second that.
A motion is second to approve the hiring. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Next resolution is to approve fiscal year 22-23 collective bargaining agreement with Teamsters Local 120 representing secondary roads employees. This came before us and was tabled, waiting for Don Sherman to be present. Is there anything you'd like to present or provide to the board?
Yeah, this, so we, came to a tentative agreement on a 2-year contract, and it would include a 3% general wage increase on July 1st of each of those years. This bargaining unit does cover 37 employees in the secondary roads department. It also has been voted on by the Teamsters, and it was ratified at their union meeting.
Then make a motion to approve the resolution.
And I will second that.
Motion is second to approve the resolution. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Our next is resolution to approve fiscal year 22-23 collective bargaining agreement with Dubuque County Assistant County Attorneys Association. Dawn, asking you the same questions.
Yeah, again, this is a 2-year agreement and that we came to a tentative agreement on with a 3% wage increase on July 1st of each year. And this bargaining unit will represent 11 assistant county attorneys.
Do we have questions for Dawn? Comments, discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
I will second.
Motion is second to approve the resolution. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye, that motion carries. Our next resolution is to approve fiscal year 22-23 collective bargaining agreement with Teamsters Local 120 representing the courthouse employees.
And these are the same as the other two, a 2-year agreement with a 3% wage increase. The contract says that it's representing courthouse employees, but it does also include some out at our West Campus in zoning and health department. So this bargaining unit covers 37 employees for the county.
Do we have questions? Any discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
And I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Our last item on action item is to issue a duplicate warrant to Dubuque Fire Equipment for $360.
I'll make a motion to approve the duplicate warrant.
And I will second that.
Motion is second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Communications, we do not have any on our agenda at this time. Appointments, an issue from our last board meeting that was tabled regards appointment of a member of the Board of Supervisors to the Tom Hancock Grant Review Board. And I believe what we have there is the document that created the agreement.
That is correct.
And it indicates we do need to have a member of the Board of Supervisors. And it looks as though we have, in the other document, gender balance has been achieved. That was a concern that I had in raising that. Did we need to have a male or a female appointed, and we have gender balance?
And so all the other positions are full at this time,
That is correct.
placed? Excellent. And
Is
I know you expressed interest being on the board.
I deferred. Is it something that is more beneficial to somebody else's experience?
I'm certainly happy to serve on it, but if the chair would wish to serve on it, I'm comfortable at this point.
Yep, I'm comfortable with that. I would make a motion to appoint Chair McDonough to that position.
And I will second that.
Thank you. I would just make a note, if we could, that it does not need to be chair. I'm afraid we're starting, Chair Baker served in this position, and now myself. I think we want to be sure that we're clear that it doesn't need to be the chair. This is how those legends begin, where we all think it has to be chair. So I appreciate that vote. So we have a motion and a second to appoint myself onto this Tom Hancock Grant Review Board. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye, that motion carries. Thank you. Also on appointments, we have updated open vacancies. Did anyone wish to make any comment, draw any attention to anything?
List is getting smaller.
The Disabilities Council is doing very well, correct, Ann? Thank you.
Do you have do you have folks applying for these open vacancies, Ann?
Super.
Very good. Well, I know you've done great work. You've filled many of those positions, and the first meeting, I understand, was pretty dynamic, so.
Thank you, Ann. For the compensation board, it says 2 vacancies. Which 2 are they? Joe had appointed his, and
I think yours.
CJ appointed his.
CJ appointed, I'd have to go back and look.
we have to appoint one for us yet, and
You have 2 appointees to that, the compensation board.
Are their terms up, though?
I would need to check. I think there is one. I know that one of the appointees had not made the last 2 meetings for the 2 years with scheduling conflicts as
Right.
well. So I'll check on that and have a report to you.
okay.
It might be a 15-minute work session, too, just to, it would be nice, you know, in my time here, no one's ever talked about the purpose of our designees, you know? And so they
Yeah.
kind of fly unaided into that compensation meeting. So, very good. Any other discussion about the appointments and vacancies?
I have nothing.
Nope.
Move on to a personnel requisition. We held this over. It's the request from our county attorney, who was not able to be with us tonight. Dawn, did you have any update to give about this?
Yes, CJ just contacted me prior to the meeting, and since he is out of the office and unable to log into the Zoom, he has requested that we table this to next week, so he'll be present to answer any questions.
We'll make a motion to table.
I will second it.
Motion to table to second, motion to second to table. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye, that motion carries. Thank you. All right. The next item on the agenda, it's time again for public comment. If anyone wishes to address the board about any matter that is of concern, that person can come forward at this time. If you are in the virtual world, you need to raise your hand in the Zoom function or enter a chat in the chat box, or personally address the board. If you're in the room, you may go to the podium, and we'll hold for a moment to see if anyone wishes to do either of those activities. The virtual world is quiet and no one is at our podium. I saw you conferring before we adjourned. Did we get it all? Okay, very good. Looking for a motion to adjourn until next Monday.
So moved.
I will second that.
Motion is second to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Very good. Mark 6:02.